Welcome back, everybody, to day number 25 of the 50-day challenge. We're halfway through, which is kind of crazy. Um, Pretty good. I'm pretty happy being halfway through. But today I want to talk about something that I actually don't have an answer to. That I've just that's something that I've been going through recently. So me personally, I have. Ooh, that's not a good way to start. I have personally a lot of experience playing sports and being really disciplined and working hard and always showing up and doing well in these endeavors. But when it comes to tr- transferring that to, let's say, a business or a business I want to create or something that I'm personally really passionate about, sometimes it's really hard for me to transfer that discipline and that hard work, um, and get myself to do it. I become really distracted. I can't focus as much, and I noticed that it's easy for me to focus when, let's say, I have somebody I'm working with, like a partner on a project, or let's say there's a deadline for something like a college application or a test at school or some sort of thing where it's like you only have a certain amount of time to do it. And then, so I've noticed myself doing things and being able to focus in these things really well. But when it comes to doing things on my own that are just something that I'm just really passionate about, but I don't, there's no deadline, there's nobody there to push me. It's just me. Well, I noticed it's really hard for me to do it. And I was thinking, it's man, why can I do these other things with no problem? And I was talking to a mentor about it, and essentially, with these things, there's pressure around, in sports, there's pressure to perform. In video games, there's pressure to play well. When you have, when you're working with someone, when you're working with someone on a project or something, you have an accountability to show up to that person. You have the social pressure of that. When you have a test or a deadline, that creates pressure. It's okay, I only have so much time. And typically, even with deadlines, we typically wait till the end because that's when we start to feel the pressure. And I realized, okay, I need to essentially, if I want to chase a goal or chase a dream that I have, but there's no pressure to accomplish it, it's really, really hard to do it. So basically, what I want to do is I want to somehow artificially create, not artificially, I genuinely want to create it, but I want to create this pressure where it's okay, I have to show up, I have to put in the work, I have to perform, I have to accomplish this. And it's been really, and I don't know how to do it yet. So I'm trying to think of some way to just lean into maybe some feeling, some frustration or some I don't know, some anger maybe. I don't know how to tackle this problem. Um, but I think it's very interesting. It's very I think it's a very modern day problem. In a world, in life, well, with a lot of people who have a lot of their basic needs met, who aren't worried about getting the next meal or a roof to live under or whatever. When you have those things and there's no pressing need in your personal life, so dang, this is my only way out, this is my only thing. I think it's really hard to develop that mindset of I need this, I have to have this, because that's such a that mindset. You only come across people who have had really tough times, who've had super challenging things that they've gone through, and those things that they've gone through create that pressure where it's I can't live this way anymore, I can't do this anymore, I need to create change. And then that fuels them the entire time, and that pressure's hey man, if you don't put in the work now, you're gonna have this, and this sucks, this result, this life is not good, so they work to create a better life. But when your life's and what I'm saying is when your needs are met, when you're complacent, when things are just fine, essentially suburbia, middle class, and just not, what I'm saying is when your needs are met, it's really hard to develop. I think you can be motivated, but when it comes to actually getting the work done, I think it can be really challenging if you don't have pressure, if you don't have an external driver. And that's why I think I love sports so much, is that I always can focus and I always can go to the gym because I have that man, I want to perform, and that drives me. But when it comes to doing these other things that aren't so much physical or I'm accountable to someone or whatever, it's harder. And it's a very like interesting thing that I think it shows that in today's world, and I know I'm not the only one who experiences this, but when we have so many things that are given to us, and especially here in um like first world countries where we have, so many things like that we take for granted, like clean water and, you know, clothes and just so many things that like we can't really relate to in a lot of other parts of the world where they don't have as much access to clean water and they're still like battling like huge diseases and poverty, and there's wars going on and like so much violence, and there's still a lot of violence in the US too. But my point is that a lot of us have become really complacent in the lives that we live in, including myself. And I think one of the things is that for those of us, and look, it's not like it's if your life is like good and it's fine and it's safe and it's comforting, like that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of you that want to do like achieve greatness in something or do a lot more, impact a lot of people, you have to have some sort of pressure. You have to have something that drives towards action, because I don't think and this is something that I completely could be wrong about, but I think for most people, I don't think people act because there isn't pressure. I think people always actually like, you know what, I want, like, they feel the pressure, and it doesn't have to be like a negative thing. It's like, I can't wait to go out and like perform, and this working hard now is going to pay off later, because they want the pressure of that moment. But yeah, so that's what I was like thinking about today, is that, when we're complacent, we don't have pressure, and when we don't have pressure, we don't take action, and that doesn't lead to any change and lead to any success. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how I can create pressure in areas of my life that I want to succeed in, such as starting business, doing this YouTube thing, doing the podcast, and how I can create pressure in my life so I feel like, oh man, I need to focus. Because when I do focus, like it's really easy, but it's been really hard without it, because there's no accountability. It's just me. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that if you guys have like any thoughts about this, let me know. I'm totally down to hear it, because I think it's an interesting concept, and it's something that I'm figuring out now. Don't know how to do it. But if I figure it out here soon, which I hope I do, I'll let you guys know. I probably won't figure it out, but I won't figure it out in the next week, but I'll probably try something. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Alright, see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.